What's good, everyone? RagingYoshi here with more Hollow Knight, and as you can see, this video is most definitely sped up and there's music playing over it. So Nightmare King Grimm is a fun fight, and as sarcastic as it sounds, I actually very much enjoyed this fight when doing it, because it's a fight that actually pushes you to understand how this fight works. So this fight is actually very difficult for a singular reason. It ignores everything the game of Hollow Knight has taught you up to this point. If you're wondering what I mean by this, as you play through Hollow Knight, the game teaches you to take every opportunity you can get to deal damage to enemies and to constantly look for your chances to fight and to deal damage, and sometimes that taking hits is better than letting the fight go on too long. This is very evident in the way that I play a lot of the fights. If you look, I tend to be extremely aggressive. There's a few fights where I'm not. There are many fights where I'm constantly looking for my opportunities to hit, and then I'm looking for my chance to heal, and it takes a lot out of you doing fights over and over again like this. But it's the way that the game is designed. In many ways, the game wants you to be playing aggressively. The game wants you to be fighting. Yes, there are going to be moments where you get reckless, but the game doesn't punish you in a way that's very, very ridiculous for playing too aggressive. This fight ignores everything I just said, and instead, it doesn't want you forcing damage as often as you can. It tells you, these are your moments to deal damage, wait for them. The best way I can describe Nightmare King Grimm is this fight is a waltz, where everything else in this fight is kind of just like freestyle. Everything else in this game is just freestyle. What I mean by this is you and Nightmare King Grimm are dance partners, and he always is taking the lead. So for every move that he hits you with, you are only allowed to respond. You're not allowed to take the initiative and do something. You have to respond to everything he's doing. If you actually notice, in all these attempts, I have yet to get through the first phase of this fight. Oddly enough, this fight does not actually change when you transition phases. Phase transitions are more so to let you know how far you've gotten into the fight. Since his hits do actually 2 damage per hit, you have to be very careful. If you actually notice, I don't take many opportunities to heal because truthfully, you just don't get them. So, in this fight, Nightmare King Grimm has a total of 6 different attacks that he will hit you with. I'm gonna try to pick one to describe. The first one I'll describe is the one where he shoots the fire pillars. They shoot where you're standing. You can honestly just walk away from them. You're gonna see that in my successful attempt, and as this goes on longer, I eventually get to the point where I'm just walking away from that attack and not really stressing out too much about it. It's the easiest way to dodge it. He then has an attack where he slashes at you, jumps into the air, and then bursts into a ball of flame. When he bursts into a ball of flames, the ball will split into 5 flames that will crash into the ground. The best way to dodge this attack, dash through him, and then just dodge the flames as they come down. Because once you dash through, he's going to uppercut behind you, and then the flame balls are going to come down, and you'll be pretty much fine. The third attack is the one where he shoots the bats out. You don't want to actually get too close to him too quickly, or he'll teleport behind you and change the way the attack works. The way you want to do it is he goes high, low, high, low. So duck, jump over, it's okay. So he shoots the first high one, you stay on the ground. You're gonna jump over the low one. Once you're below the second high fire bat, you're gonna dash so you can go over the 4th and final one, and it puts you close enough to hit. And so you can usually get 2 to 3 hits out when you do that. So only 2 of these attacks give you really good openings to hit him, and that's the fire pillar one and the one with the bats. Those are the only 2 times that I personally suggest you go in for hits. I talked about the slash and jump uppercut one that he does. He also has one where he does a dive kick and then a dash across the ground. What you want to do is you dash away from the dive kick and jump over the dash. You can usually get 1 hit in on the dash, but that's a little bit risky if you're not comfortable with it. I'm pretty comfortable with it, so in my final attempt where I do successfully beat this fight, I do kind of carefully get that hit in sometimes. I don't always go for it because sometimes it's a little risk, but when I feel comfortable, I do go for that hit. And those are, I believe, your 4 base attacks that Nightmare King Grim hits you with. I said 6 earlier. I think there's only actually 5 attacks, and I just miscounted. Oh no, the spikes. No, there's 6. So there's one where he makes the spikes come out. Just, you want to make sure you're standing in between the spikes. You don't want to get hit by them. Very easy attack to dodge. Don't stress yourself out. This is one of the attacks where he's completely invulnerable and you have no chance to hit him during. And then the last attack that he's completely invulnerable in is one where he's going to turn into a giant spike ball and shoot the fireballs out. That one, you just stand in the corner and dodge whatever patterns are coming near you. I'm pretty sure that that attack only comes out when he crosses certain HP barriers. So by knowing the number of times that he's done that attack, you can actually start to figure out how far you've gotten into the fight. I want to say he does that attack 3 to 4 times in a fight, so if you keep aware of that, you can keep a really, really good idea of how far you've gotten into the fight. Otherwise, this entire fight is just understand what he's throwing at you, react to it, and take your hits when you can. Don't overdo it, because when you overdo it, you don't get enough damage in and you take stupid hits. If you actually look, right now, I'm starting to get the hang of the fight. And here's the first time I've seen this attack. This is the attack that kind of lets you know, hey, you're getting pretty far into the fight. And the biggest thing is calming down. Nightmare King Grim is fast. Just because he's fast doesn't mean he is overwhelming. He actually isn't that overwhelming once you understand how every single one of his attacks works. He does a lot of damage, and by doing a lot of damage, that is this game's way of hard punishing you for mistakes. What this fight really says is, don't make mistakes, you can't afford it. In my final attempt, what I actually ended up doing is equipping the High Blood Charm, because the High Blood Charm, when you're not taking hits, will give you extra health back. And this is a fight where you honestly don't want to take hits. You don't get chances to heal. You don't want to take hits in this fight. So, if you don't want to take hits with High Blood on, and you don't want to take hits in this fight, I don't see anything wrong with running it. What it actually ends up doing is, I paused the game here for some reason, don't know why. What it actually ends up doing is it gives you more HP for the fight. Because, now let's look at it this way. We start out with 10 HP. I get hit once down to 8. I avoid getting hit for a little bit. I pop back up to 9. I can take 5 hits again. And so long as I can carefully dodge every time, I can essentially go from only having 5 hits to live to having, I think, 8 or 9 hits to live. So long as I don't take multiple hits in rapid succession. This comes down to just how well you play the fight. Past him, are you going to unpause the game at some point? Yes, maybe, no maybe, I don't know. As I lean back in my chair away from my microphone. I think this fight is actually very masterfully done. I like the fact that you need to very much understand how Nightmare Grim fights, and you have to figure out the ways that he dodges attacks each time. This is a very interesting fight. Like, let me put it this way. Lost Kin was a fight that I found very difficult. But with it being difficult, it's difficult because Lost Kin has a lot of HP. You don't want to miss any opportunity to deal damage. So the whole trick to that fight is learning how to dodge them while completely and utterly pumping as much damage into your opponent as possible. Nightmare King Grim is the same deal, except instead of getting lots of opportunities and constantly putting damage in, you don't constantly pump damage into Nightmare King Grim. You pump damage in every so often when it's safe and at no other point. Trying to constantly pump damage in is a recipe for death. Once again, just generally a really good fight though. And I say that it's a good fight, and I know that might be kind of weird seeing as how, if you're looking, I'm just dying repeatedly to it. This fight, the entire point of it is learn the dance. I think the reason why it takes so many people a long time to deal with this fight is the fact that learning the dance is hard for them. Because, truthfully, he's coming at you really fast. You don't have a lot of time to sit and think about it. And the funny part is, I was wondering if there's something I was doing wrong. I looked up how you're supposed to do the fight and found out, hey, you know what you've been doing basically? It's right, just keep doing it. Which I found hilarious and gave me a bit of confidence since I knew what I was doing. Here we go. Nice bit of HP. Here, this is the first phase being completed. We actually at this point have gotten out of phase 1. And then we die. But remember, the fact that we're getting out of phase 1 is a sign that we are improving. It's a sign that we're beginning to understand what we're doing. Which, in my opinion, is very, very good. And all the music I have playing in the background, this is just Nightmare King Grim looped. I just manually looped it in my editing program. And we can just enjoy the beautiful, beautiful tones of Nightmare King Grim. Good fight. Just play it carefully. Woo! I do end up changing my charm set. As I said, I put Hive Blood on. I don't know if I actually show what my final charm set is at some point. I think I just kind of forgot it. But that's fine, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. So, just take our time. This fight's not that hard. The biggest thing you can do wrong is panic during this fight. Panicking means you're going to die. Like, it's not even a case like, oh, you might mess up. No. If you're panicking in Nightmare King Grim, you are going to die in this fight. It's not that hard of a fight, but even a moment of panic is too long. Don't put yourself in the corner if you can avoid it, with the exception of that singular attack where you want to be in the corner because it's easiest to dodge from there. This singular attack, I'm talking about the big ball. Otherwise, keep yourself in the center of the field, give yourself plenty of room to dodge, give yourself plenty of time to react. If you see him appear in the air, he is probably dive kicking. And that's just a really, really good, like, rule of thumb. Assume he's dive kicking if he appears in the air, because when he's not, you're in a good position to react. If he is dive kicking, hey look, you dodged the dive kick. I personally think all of this is very good rules of thumb. Nice dodging from me, once again. It's as if I've been fighting this fight for a while. A lot of people end up being stuck on this fight for hours. I actually was only stuck on this for maybe 30 minutes. This wasn't too bad. So yeah, just keep up the hard work. This fight is completely doable. It is annoying at absolute best. Lots and lots of failed attempts. But as I said, the fight isn't that bad. It is very frustrating. I think we only have one or two more attempts where I failed to beat him. And then we're going to be cutting back to normal speed and live commentary, quote unquote. And I'll let you guys just enjoy that final run once we get to it. As I said, this fight's frustrating and this fight can be tough. But if you just take a deep breath, don't stress yourself out, you will be fine. I promise you, every little thing is going to be alright so long as you don't stress yourself out about the fight. See me? I'm stressing out right now. I see it in my gameplay. I'm stressing out. But I digress. We're gonna cut the recording now, and now you guys can enjoy the non-existent live commentary tones of Tim. I didn't expect to get through that fight that soon. I thought I was going to be going for a while. Holy moly. Oh, and with that, we have completed the Grim Troop DLC. Or have we? The Grim Troop DLC has a lot of challenge to it. But there's one more challenge I have yet to take. And we'll save that for next episode. Next time, I will show you what the final piece of the Grim Troop DLC is. See you guys then.